welcome to Valentin Consulting's YouTube channel. And I am so excited to be here. I have a great guest speaker today. And I just wanted to let you guys know who I am. I am Dr. Daisy Valentin with Valentin Consulting, and we do accounting, finance, and quantitative analysis, financial projections. But we are so excited today because we are talking to Johan Gomez Sang, and he is our guest speaker today. Woo! Welcome, Johan. All right, Johan,
Let's
tell
go,
us
let's
a little
go.
bit about you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Daisy, for having me here on a YouTube channel. It's an honor for me to be here today. And let me just start with myself, right? Oh, thank you,
Yes.
everyone who's here today listening to me. Appreciate your support. Thank you all out there. So who am I? In case you don't know me too well, I'm just gonna let me know. So my name is Johan Gomez Sang. I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic. Dominicano. Yeah, I can speak
Woo!
three languages as well. I can speak Spanish, Spanish, not Dominican, Spanish, English, and Chinese as well.
Woo!
That comes from my Chinese heritage, Chinese grandfather, and all that. I have a degree in marketing, and I have a master's degree in management and productivity as well. Um,
Awesome.
as for myself, I been in Minnesota now, in the United States now 6 years. Yes, in 6 years, I moved here in 2018 with my wife and my two wonderful boys. They're 9 and 10 now, and 11, 9 and 11. Sorry, if he hears me. um, yeah, and as for my like how I was raised, just kind of related to the topic, right? I was born by a single mom who started her own business. I saw her struggles she went through. I was there with her. I worked in her business. I myself have started myself a few different businesses. So I know the ins and outs, the struggles. So yeah, that's kind of like me. I can share my professional experience too.
Yes, please do. We
All
want to
right, we're gonna
learn
go
more.
ahead about.
Like you told us, you know three languages, you have a degree in marketing, you have a degree in something else, but tell us what you do, professional experience.
All right. So I'm a small business banker specialist here at Minnesota Bank and Trust. Minnesota Bank and Trust has three locations in the Twin Cities, Edina, Minnetonka, and I'm in basically based out of St. Paul, Midway. I've been in banking for more than 20 years now. I've been personal banker. I've been business banker before in the Dominican, branch manager as well. I started in a small little financial lending company, uh, just giving out loans to employees and then bringing cash over.
Hmm.
Like I would go around like with like $8,000 in cash and bring it to the companies in my car. And that was a little bit crazy, but hey, that's talking about 20, 30 years ago. So
Yeah,
uh,
I can't do that now.
no,
That's just
I don't want to do
debit
that
and
now
credit card
either.
or transfer.
I don't want to do that now either. But I learned a lot to that and giving presentations to the employees. But yeah, that's kind of my background. When I moved in 2018 here. I moved, got a position at Wells Fargo, and now I've been here in Minnesota Bank Trust for 3 years.
That is amazing. Now,
Yep.
you said that you've been only living in Minnesota or the United States for 6 years.
Well, United States, but I lived 1 year in Wisconsin, Somerset.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty close.
So what made you come to Minnesota? Like,
Well, I've heard that you don't really come to Minnesota for the weather, right?
no, we don't.
Someone either you come for some opportunity or someone brings you here.
Yes, yes,
And my
yes.
wife
Someone
brought
brings
me
you here
here.
or for an opportunity. And I hope it was for an opportunity because it looks like you've
Well,
been doing amazing.
I guess an opportunity to be next to my family. So
That is
my wife
awesome.
she's from Wisconsin, but she likes Minnesota. So she wanted to come back. We started our family in the Dominican, but then she wanted to come back, so we
Yeah,
came.
that's pretty cool though. That's pretty cool that you started your family in Dominican Republic. But that's really good because not only you speak those languages, but now your whole family has that same, approach, which is really valuable here, right? And especially as goes invaluable in what we're going to discuss today, which I'm so excited about what we're talking about today, right? We're talking about how non-traditional businesses, small non-traditional businesses are looking for that financing, like what that particular financing, right? And what specific criteria do you consider, and briefly, I know you can't say a lot, when when you when you're like evaluating, non-traditional businesses, what is it that they need to be aware of that's important to get financing?
Okay, I'll try to speak briefly, Dr. Daisy. As you know, I like to
Yeah.
talk. So first, non-traditional businesses are they're like different than the retail and the brick and mortar. So you got to look at the industry; it's different, right? You got the freelancers, or the food trucks, or the online
Mhm.
businesses, right? That's part of it, right? And we as a bankers, we have to learn the industry, how they operate. But basically, in the end, we're just gonna look for the main things like any other type of business. So it's like if you look for 5 C's of credit, which Dr. Daisy, I know you heard about those a
Yep.
lot, which is capacity, collateral, capital, conditions, and character,
Mhm.
right? And each of them have something, which is capacity. How can they repay, right?
Mhm.
How much? What is the capacity to repay us back? That is our first source of repayment for us as a bank. Then collateral, that would be the second source of repayment. Like we don't want to go in there, but we want to have a second source of repayment.
Assets.
In case,
What are
yeah,
your assets?
right, assets. So we want to see, do you have real estate? Do you have equipment, accounts receivable that we can work with? Things like that, right? That's our secondary source of repayment. Um, then we got the capital. How much money are you putting into the deal, right? How much are you putting into what you're asking for?
Mhm.
I mean, we don't financial institutions. We don't want to. We would like to, but we don't want to give 100% of the deal of what you're
Of
looking for.
course not. Of
Right? We
course
want to. We
not.
want
The
you to
less
put,
that you can give, the better, right?
right. We want you to put some skin in the game, that they call it, right? So, how much skin in the game are you putting into? Because if we're gonna lose, we're all gonna lose, right? So you gotta lose something. We're gonna help you. We want to be your partner, but you gotta lose a little bit something, at least something. You got in the
Mhm.
deal. If something happens, right? Um, if something happens. Not that we
If
look because
something
we,
happens.
we look at casual. That's the first thing we're going to look at. So conditions is the other C, which is the conditions of the market. How's the industry of that
Mhm.
that you're looking for?
That niche, that
That
niche.
niche, like what
Mhm.
is it that you're looking for? Like as a where are you working at, and what is that loan for? Where are you going for?
Mhm.
And then character, which is the most important one. Character is based on credit score,
Mhm.
credit history, um, and the person itself. If you work with a lot of clients at the Daisy, and you sit down with them, you have a conversation, and this is something that my current supervisor talks a lot about. It's like, do you like the person? Do you like the person? That's the first thing. Like, and we're gonna ask ourselves the question when we sit.
Yes.
Do we like the person as
Do
we
they
talk?
like me? Do I like them? Do we want to
Right,
work with
right.
this
Well,
person?
and that's other thing. Like you just said it has to be the other way around too. Like, do they like me as well? Is this gonna be a good
Exactly.
deal? This is business, right? This is like, hey, you like me, I like you, great. This is gonna work. If we're talking and it feels like it's not gonna work, then you can always there's tons of options, and that's okay, and it's really okay. So criteria, those will be like the 5 C's of credit, right?
Mhm.
Who's like all tied up, like who is the borrower, what is the industry, who is the management of the business or the company? Is it them or is
Mhm.
it someone else? What is their experience? Other things, and then the financials, which is the story, the number story, and
Yep,
numbers are
that's where
numbers.
I come in. That's
That
where I
you
come
come
in. A
in,
lot of what I
Dr.
do, it
Right,
tells
right.
the story to the
That's your
banker,
side. That's
what's
your
going
side.
on.
That's your side of the story. And as you know, Dr. Daisy, numbers, they tell a story.
They
And
tell a story,
we want to
believe
see that.
me.
We want to see that. We want to see what's your story. We're going to have a lot of questions when there's financials, and we want to know that the client can answer them.
Exactly.
When we ask a question, we want good answers. And that's it. Yeah.
Exactly. Now,
Mhm.
because you mentioned about the five characters, right? The five different points. Um, how can a non-traditional business, learn about the SBA loans, the Small Business Administration loans? Like, how can they obtain something like that? And what could you briefly like explain a little bit what is the SBA loan, for instance? Because a lot of people do not even know that it exists, believe it or not.
That is true, and I do get a lot of people that don't know about it, and I help them out and I tell them what it is. And so, Minnesota Bank Trust, where I work at, my employer, is an SBA preferred lender. Right, you want
Mhm.
to work with an SBA preferred lender because usually we can do the deal a little bit faster.
Mhm.
Can do our own underwriting and we can do it faster. So, to a certain amount usually.
Mhm.
Um, but SBA is the Small Business Administration, and that is a government entity that
Mhm.
helps small businesses through different resources, different ways, resources, lending, grants, courses, all sorts of things. It's really big. You can go to sba.org and .gov, and then you can uh, check it out. Um, but a lot of like a lot of the people or of the borrowers that come in to me over to me, they a misconception is like, oh, I want to. They come in and right away they call me and say, I wanna apply for a SBA loan. So the SBA loan doesn't give loans themselves, right?
Mhm.
SBA backs guarantees part of the loan, not
Mhm.
100%. It depends on the
Mhm.
product because there's different products, 7A, 504, Express, all that, micro loans, and all depends on the type of loan. But this it has a specific guarantee, 75, 90
Yeah.
percent
And also it's specific to the type of amount that is as being asked for, right? I
Right,
think it is. Like the loan amount that you are looking for. Like there's a
right.
cap
Right,
depending
there's
on
a
what it
cap
is,
up
right?
to 5 million in certain products, and there's terms in every other product, and the uses of each product is different too. But yeah, like misconception is like I want to go. It's like, well, and first I would say go with a conventional loan first. Like go to your bank if you do have a banker that you work with, that you become, and it's a business banker. And when I say banker, I don't say and sorry for maybe all those out there, but I'm not talking about like the actual um,
The regular banks that you do
branch
individual,
manager.
the
Oh
regular
no,
banking that you do individual banking with is what you're
right, right,
saying. Not more
yeah,
commercial bankers is what you're talking about.
right. I'm talking about like business bankers with their title like that. Small business banker. You want to talk to someone that knows that is in the sector. Um, you
Yeah.
know, a personal banker, great, they're lovely, but ask for them to connect you with that person, and
Mhm.
they'll let you know. Like first go through the conventional side. You might want to go if it works without the SBA, because truly the SBA is great and has great rates, like great financing options, but in the end, it has more requirements. So you want to do conventional first, and if the deal, when you talk to your banker and they see and they look at your financials, they look at your plans, whatever it is, then they'll let you know. I think it works better with the SBA,
Mhm.
or I think we can do it directly conventional, with the bank.
Yeah, without having to worry about the SBA piece.
Right, right, and yeah. So that's the only, I would say, the only difference, and how to educate a little bit about quickly about SBA.
So I'm thinking that this brings up this question because it's kind of like similar to what we're talking about, but is what do you consider are the most important banking products every small business owner should have?
Well, don't, there's tons. But if we can talk about specific products, I would say first, of course, have your checking account, operational
Mhm.
account, um, and I might differ in a few other bankers out there. I would say it's okay to have two relationships, right? Uh,
Mhm.
with two different banks, and have a operational here and then some other funds somewhere else. But you got to have
Mhm.
that checking account with your operational account, have a savings account, and you can have that savings account in another account in another institution. Um, Another product that you should have is a reserve line of credit, which in our case is a business credit manager. It's an overdraft line of credit.
Mhm.
Um,
Like a credit line,
like
sort
a
of like a credit line for the business or something like that.
Yeah, so the reserve line of credit it's tied to your checking account, to your
Mhm.
operational checking account. Then if you do need, let's say you don't need it now because you don't have any overdrafts. But if you do go to overdraft because cash flow is a little bit short, you're like kind of like in a seasonal business, so that comes in handy, and then you save on fees, on like overdraft fees as well.
Hmm.
So having an overdraft line of credit, I think even if you don't need it, have it,
It's
right?
still
Because
good
you
to
don't
have
know
it,
when you need
especially
it. You don't know what you need, and when you need it, then you save, right? And it's automatic. You don't have to be looking for funds from another account and passing it through, or using
back
your
and forth or using your personal. That's the one thing that a lot of small non-traditional businesses do, and I'm glad you said that, is have that operating account, right? Have that separate bank account from your personal account. Sometimes it's good to have them in separate banks because that way you're
yeah,
not stealing from Peter to pay Paul, right? You're not going from back to back. And it's kind of nice that you mentioned that. And a lot of small non-traditional businesses don't know that that is something that is available, if they qualify, of course, but that is available with the type of loan that they're getting.
right.
Now, how do you consider yourself different from other business bankers out there?
Well, first I gotta say, with more than 20 years experience, I've seen a lot. I've seen a few different deals. Um, bank that I am at is a bank that's focused on service. We provide tailored products. We're gonna ask you the those questions that we need to know to see what are the products that you really need for your business.
Mm-hmm.
So we provide that personalized service as well. So um, you're gonna have my phone number. If you're my client, you're gonna have my cell phone. You're gonna have my direct line. You're gonna call me, Johan. I need this. You need that. You don't have to call a 1-800 number or this and that to get your business
So you're
running.
building a relationship with them basically. It's like we are your banker and hey, we got the rules and regulations, but also you can count on the us for any, banking advice when it comes to your business. That it's just like I'm just opening up your account and here's the money or here's the account and bye-bye, because that's what most business bankers I've seen do. And that's where, like you mentioned, it's good not to go to a personal banker because that's what that is for. Personal bankers are just for that. You're trying to buy a home or something like that, they're perfect for that, right?
Right.
But for a business, it's a bigger asset, right? It's a bigger responsibility. You want the people that actually know how to work small non-traditional businesses. That's why I work with a lot of non-traditional businesses in accounting, because my firm is just like your bank, where we're not the same as any accounting firm out there, because we offer a personalized service to every client. So not only do they get us, right, but they're getting a lot of us, just versus just being, oh, another person on their books, right? Another
Right.
person on their books.
And another
So,
thing is, like, we are one of the very few out there that do give loans or banking products to ITIN holders, individual taxpayer ID number holders.
mhm.
That is good to know out there as well.
Well, that's really good, Johan. And we're so excited. We thank you so much for being here. This was very, very helpful. And I hope for us to do another series just like this with you, but in Spanish. That way we can have the Spanish
Sure.
speaking guests come on and understand it in their own language, right? I don't know Chinese, I don't know Mandarin, but it would be cool to hear you speak in that too, because we have a lot of people here too that have non-traditional businesses that speak that language as well. So that is really amazing. And if everyone, we've posted his information in the comments. If you are interested in learning more about Johan and Minnesota Bank and Trust, please reach out to him. He is available to you. Please reach out to him, send him information, email him, and that way you can get that service as well. If you are a non-traditional businesses, don't leave it to yourself. Don't think that you can't do it or you cannot do it. It's something that makes a difference. I mean, I've seen Johan in action. He's done so much for a lot of people in the community that wouldn't think that they had the opportunity to have the banking services they need for their business. So, Johan, thank you so much for serving us in the community with all that you do. So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining our YouTube channel today. Like and subscribe so you can keep getting notifications of wonderful guest speakers that are coming up in the next series coming to Valentin Consulting. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye
Thank you
bye.
all for coming. Thank you for today's.